I can conduct myself however I want, and you'll like it. Genghis Contributions, that's an awesome name. When things weren't so good, when financially things were very tight for me, the only way that I could make ends meet was basically to have a series of good streams back to back. I really was living, as they say, paycheck to paycheck, I believe is the way that they call it. Meaning, you know, the next time that you work and you earn money, you hope it's enough so you can pay your bills and you can make ends meet, right? Now, keep in mind, I used to be a very prominent, popular YouTuber. That was a long time ago, all right? But there was a time when I was known as one of the top gaming YouTubers, and every single one of my videos got tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of views. Every one of my streams did incredibly well, and everything was good. And then that all went away. And I was in a really bad way, financially. I declared bankruptcy. I had to. There was no way that I was ever going to pay off the debts that I owed because of the bad way that I was in. And I had to do what was best for me and my family to get out of that situation. But basically, every time I streamed, it was like a make or break situation. I need to have a good stream today. So how can I motivate people to contribute? Let's put on vests. Let's put on glasses. Let's put on silly hats. Let's dress up and act a fool and do all this kind of stuff. And people across the internet kind of started to know me for that stuff. Wow, he's the guy who acts like a clown and dresses up in stupid clothes when he streams. Can you believe that Phil does that? Let's all make fun of him for it. Now, keep in mind, I never wanted to do any of that. That was the kind of stuff that I had to do to stand out and motivate an audience to contribute to my streams, because otherwise it was just a bunch of people dumping on me constantly. And it wasn't a good time. It was incredibly stressful. All the time I was worried about paying a bill or making ends meet and stuff like that. It was a really bad time in my life, to be honest, okay? It was very, very tough. Thank God I had my wife to help me get through that time and to be, you know, be there for me behind the scenes. But it was very tough, okay? Now, fast forward to say, I would say maybe about 2 years ago. So let's say early 2024. Things were getting better, okay? They had been getting better for a while. You know, I was doing better in my streams and my content, and it wasn't as financially crazy tight anymore. And I was coming out of this rut, basically. And I was still, you know, every once in a while struggling a little bit. And the thing was, like, you'd have times when, let's say something went wrong and all of a sudden I had to dump a bunch of money on something. Like something broke in the house and I had to pay for someone to come fix something. Now all of a sudden things would be tight again. I'd be like, oh my God, this sucks, right? There was also the fact that around 2 years ago, early 2024, my setup was ancient, okay? I was using a over 10-year-old PC to capture and stream. It was not up to snuff anymore, and people were upset that I was behind the times with my technology. My camera looked awful, right? The setup, the lighting. I was using a college-grade lamp, something you would use in a dorm room. I was using for lighting here on my business every day, okay? I was gaming on a TV that had input delay and was on the other side of the room. I was squinting and looking across over here to do my streams at 2 monitors that I had to the left of me and a laptop in front of me that was all, you know, small and crappy and just an awful setup, right? For someone who's professional, you should be doing better than that. You should be having better equipment. You should be doing out better quality stuff, and I just didn't have the means to do it, right? So things were better where I wasn't really, like, 100% financially tight, but everything was just outdated and bad, and I was wondering how on earth I was going to turn that around for myself, because quite frankly, things just weren't going well enough for me to be able to afford these kind of improvements, okay? Now I want you to fast forward to a few months ago, okay? A few months ago, things have been a lot better. I was able to, through the generosity of others and through my own hard work, upgrade a lot of my set. You know, the PC that I'm using now for gaming is a donated PC. A fan donated that about 1.5 years ago. Super high-end PC at the time. Allows me to play everything at the highest settings, 4K resolution. Amazing upgrade. The capture streaming PC that I'm using, I bought for myself. And man, it allows me to co-stream on both YouTube and Kick. It allows me to stream at 1440p. I could actually stream at 4K, but then I wouldn't be able to co-stream it, you see? All these improvements, right, that have happened over the last 1 to 1.5 years or so, and people have really seen that improvement. All the technology and stuff that I'm now using, you know, actual lighting and effort in my sets, you know, actual effects now that I can use which everyone has had for years and years, and finally I can use them. So now, you know, even my face cam during gameplay is dramatically improved. Everything better, right? But even then, there were still some limitations and things, and I was still tethered to the idea of having to have a financial goal every single time that I turned on a camera. Okay? And that really, for me, was the one thing that really was driving me nuts. Because to be frank and honest with all of you, I don't like sitting here talking about money, asking for contributions, saying we're so-and-so from hitting this streak of goals and this, you know, continuous streak that we've hit of success, and we need to hit this goal to do this special event or to do this. You know, the big thing was DSP tries it. We need to hit 10 goals, and then we're going to do a new DSP tries it. Or we're going to hit a certain amount of goals. We're going to do a marathon and stuff like that, right? It drove me nuts. I absolutely positively hated it. I want you to understand that every moment that I had to do that stuff and talk like that and be like that, it's not me. Me, I want to be a guy that just sits here and chills with all of you, talks games, plays games, has a good time. And if anything, I certainly hope that that has come through recently, because now what I want to do is talk about the present, okay? Basically the last 2 months. Because as you all know, 2 months ago, I had my interview with Asmongold. In fact, it was 2 months ago. If you're not aware, it was actually pretty much exactly 2 months ago, end of November, where I had to sit down with Asmongold and we talked and shot the shit for 2 hours, and we talked about me, but then we talked about games, and we talked about all kinds of stuff. And basically what happened was, it gave opportunity for the world, and particularly a new audience who didn't even know me, to see me in a new light. They had only seen me as this toxic, negative meme on the internet, right? And because of that, they didn't know what I stood for. They didn't know that I was actually well-versed and intelligent on gaming issues. They didn't know what kind of games I played or you know what I mean? Like, they didn't know anything about me. All they heard was the negative memes. And listen, I totally understand that. If you're someone who just sits around and you hear these memes from time to time, you believe them as fact. But after that interview, things went very differently for me. You know, I got exposure. I got almost 10,000 new subs within a week. I got new eyes on my content, people who were coming by and hanging out with me in droves for the first time ever. New increased viewership, new increased attention on my stuff, humongous support, right? And what's ended up happening in the last 2 months is quite amazing. Number one, engagement. And what do I mean by that? I mean that people who are coming by now are not just coming by to hang out, but they're also liking the videos. They're liking the streams. They're leaving comments, all right? And because of that, the channel is doing much better. A channel that gets views is one thing. A channel that actually gets engagement is another. In the eyes of YouTube and its algorithm, engagement is everything, okay? I want you to understand that. Like, without engagement, the YouTube algorithm kind of discards your channel or hides it, and it won't show up in related or anything like that. And the fact that now people are actively going out of their way to do these positive things for the channel is helping tremendously. I want you to know that I really appreciate it, because it is helping a lot around here. And that engagement is having this channel pop up. People are leaving comments, oh, I saw this in my suggested for the first time ever. And another thing that's really happened as a result, I am seeing people go back and check out my classic stuff for the first time in tons of years. I'm getting comments on playthroughs that didn't have a single comment. I'm getting views on stuff from ages ago that people weren't watching, and now they're watching in droves. I'm like, wow, this is absolutely amazing that people are going back and discovering this giant catalog of content that I have had on this channel for so long, right? So long. But no one watched it, because all everyone heard is that Phil was a schlub, and Phil was a bum, and Phil's a guy that dresses up like an idiot, like a clown, and he begs for money, and he talks about the goals all day. And it's funny, because that's the impression people get, but every single time someone came by to my stream just to hang out, they'd be like, I don't know what the hell people are talking about. That's not the entirety of his streams. Yeah, he'll do calls to action every once in a while, and he'll say, hey, you could support this way, or he'll mention a goal, but never was that ever the entirety of a stream, as what people say it is. You know, it's always a gross misrepresentation. And so, honestly, yeah, it was the Asmongold exposure that allowed me to be seen in a new light. Okay? Now, listen, the Asmongold exposure didn't last, and what I mean by that is you're never going to get those people to stick around unless you say, do content like Asmongold. And let's be honest, I don't do content like Asmongold, right? I don't. I do gaming, mostly gaming. I'm not talking about current events. I'm not talking about politics and drama. I'm not feuding with other YouTubers. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing any of that. I'm actually sitting here every day chilling with the audience, relaxing. I'm trying to make an honest take at just not having this kind of toxicity, this kind of drama content. What I want to have is just fun and chill, relaxing times with all of you every day, okay? And I hope that that's coming through, and I hope that you guys are seeing and having that and enjoying it. The thing is, I know you are. Because again, like I said, the engagement is up. And particularly, all right, views on certain content are up. I've been able to now do things like, for example, go back to Clear Obscure, which I never would have been able to do in the past, and actually do all that content that I had missed out on and had wanted to play all year. I was able to go and do it, right? I was able to basically, for the first time in my entire time that I'd been streaming, jump from project to project, game to game, not have to worry about, oh, well, I have to buy this new game and jump a bunch of money on it, and I have to worry about, oh, you know, because I bought this game, now we have to play it in its entirety because I can't afford to do otherwise. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that anymore. In fact, it's quite the polar opposite, where now I'm free, much like many other creators over the years that you guys have always compared me to. And I kept telling you guys, well, don't compare me to this guy or that guy, because we're definitely a different situation. You have to understand that because of my limitations of what's going on here financially, that I'm not able to do the things that they do. And a lot of people didn't understand that. And we're like, I don't get it. Why can't you just buy this game and play it today? Why can't we play this game, and if you don't like it, go to another one, right? Because that was the thing that kind of differentiated me. You knew if I was playing a game that usually I would always finish it. But that's not always a good thing, particularly if you buy a game that's just mid. And then you play it a little bit, you're like, wow, this is boring, but now I'm sticking myself and committing myself to having to finish this entire game, and now the audience has stuck with it, because maybe you guys don't like it so much, but now I'm telling you, I'm going to be streaming it for 2-3 weeks, right? Well, that's not good. I'm streaming not for me, but for you. I'm trying to stream to entertain an audience, right? And so you have to understand that, like, I'm only here to entertain. I'm not here for myself. If I want to play a game offline, I can. I don't have to play it all on stream. So because of that, yeah, now I see things in a different light. You know what I mean? But that's because of you guys. Because this last couple of months, all right, have been so good. I mean, here's the truth of the matter, and here's where it really comes into play as a matter of fact that no one can dispute. Okay? So 2 months ago, I had my interview with Asmongold. And the interview, like I said, went well. And what happened was, I said, as of right now, because of the positivity that has happened, I'm abolishing all goals on streams. We no longer are going to have some kind of an arbitrary goal that I'm trying to hit on any stream. All right? Instead of that, I'm just going to relax and chill with the audience, and we're going to play games and have fun. And we're going to judge it on things like how many people show up, how much engagement, and yes, I'll look at support as well, but it's going to be a factor that we consider when it comes to what games we play and what games we don't. Okay? And as soon as I announced this, right, immediately there was a clamor, and there was all this ruckus within my Detractor communities. Oh, no. Phil's always been about financial goals. Phil's always been about asking and begging for money. There's absolutely no positive way at all that this will ever stick. So first it was, oh, this won't last more than a week. And it did. And then it was, oh, this won't last more than 2 weeks. And it did. And then it was, oh, this won't last till Christmas. But it did. Oh, this can't last past Christmas into the new year. But it did. Oh, this can't last another month. So now we're 2 months into this. Okay? 2 months into no goals, no sitting here trying to hit an arbitrary total every stream. Instead, we're just relaxing and enjoying each other's company and enjoying games, right? First off, can we all agree that it's much better? I think we can, right? Without me saying, let's hit the goal and let's get some subs and let's get this and that constantly. I think it's just a much better atmosphere. We can focus on the games. We can focus on discussion. We can do more fun stuff, because it's not about me sitting here pounding the audience saying, give me money, give me money, give me money, right? Now, the thing is, you might say, well, you don't have the goals for 2 months. Well, how are things going? They must be going, well. They are. No, that's actually the truth. Things are going incredibly well. In fact, the last 2 months, things have been going better than before I had the goals. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was sitting here hounding the audience constantly, people would see me in a negative light and not want to contribute. And now what's happening is people are naturally coming by and becoming regulars and enjoying this stuff and supporting in droves. So because of that, I'm able to be just as good as I was before when I had the goals, if not better, and I don't have goals. All right? And it's amazing. Now, understand that, again, this is a factor. Because there's other factors as well when it comes to the success of a game or content. For example, are people actually coming every stream and showing up and hanging out? Are people coming and talking about the game and actively having a great time? And engaging with the content, meaning they're liking it, they're leaving comments, they're doing all that stuff. And is there support coming in? Those are the three factors that I look at to judge if a game is worthy of continuing on my streams. And so there's a lot of times when I'm playing a game and maybe one of those three things isn't jiving, and I ask the audience about it, and we make a determination. And that's the thing, like, it's always going to be like that, where you have to have some kind of a criteria to judge if something's working or not, or else, again, what's the point of me streaming? I could just be playing everything offline by myself and just playing what I like and not caring about anything else. So understand, it's not that, oh, well, support is not a factor. No, it is a factor. But also there's other factors that are intangible or not as arbitrary that also factor into things. And the thing is, with this new mentality that I have, I'm now able to go and do things that previously I wasn't able to do. Particularly, the one thing that I want to bring up, okay, is Claire Obscure Expedition 33. So this was one of my favorite playthroughs of 2025.